Hi, welcome to Groovy and welcome to your Python Zero to Hero program. In this program, we start with the very first module where we have an introduction into Python programming. First, we start by discussing what is Python. So let's get started. Python is a high level, object oriented, interpreted programming language with dynamic semantics. What that means is when we say that Python is a high level programming language, this means that it is closer to human language and is more abstract than low level languages like assembly or machine code. High level languages are easier to read and write, and they provide a higher level of abstraction from the underlying hardware. When we talk about object oriented programming, this means that it supports the use of classes and objects which can be used to model real world entities. Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm that uses objects and their interactions to design applications and programs. When we say that it's an interpreted language, this means that the code is executed line by an interpreter rather than being compiled by the machine before it runs. This allows us for faster development and also allows us more flexibility. But there is a sort of drawback. It can make the code slower. Python has a dynamic semantic, which basically means that you don't really have to declare the type of any particular variable. If you do not know what a variable is, no problem. When we get into our main courses and lectures, you will get to know what they are. But the object is determined at runtime. You do not have to explicitly define what kind of variable you're using. This allows for more flexibility and allows us to actually run the program without any problem. When we say that Python is a general purpose language, general purpose basically means you can use it for a wide range of tasks, whether it's, let's say, web development, or if it's scientific computing, data analysis, artificial intelligence, or whatever it may be. Even if it may be that you want to send a message to your friend on WhatsApp, or if you want to just send a bunch of emails to a bunch of email addresses, can be done. All of it is possible because Python is a general purpose language. When we say that Python is often called as a glue language, it means that it can also be used to connect other languages and technologies together. So there are a lot of libraries that can be used to interact with these languages, which allows developers to use different parts of a project and glue them together using Python. All right. Python also has a simple syntax. When we say the word syntax, we basically mean rules. The rules and regulations that you have to follow in Python is absolutely simple and easy. This makes it very easy to read, easy to learn, and use. In Python, we basically make use of indentations. Indentations are basically just spaces at the beginning of your lines, and these indentations are used to indicate a code block rather than using a curly brace or keywords, which makes it more easier to work with it. Finally, when I say that there are a lot of libraries and modules, basically in Python, a lot of third party libraries are available. These libraries have pre written codes that can be used to perform any common task. Let's say you want to connect a database, you want to send an email, or even parse an XML file. All of it can be done. So, this adds a lot of functionality to any kind of Python program that you are writing. Also, let's have a discussion on the features of Python. Python is a free to use and open source software, which means that you can use it, modify it, and distribute it at no cost at all. This also makes it accessible to a wide range of users and developers, and it also has a large and active community. When we say that Python code is easy to code, it basically means obviously it's easy to learn it and code with it, and makes it an absolutely amazing language, especially if you're a beginner. Also, like I said, you can use indentations rather than curly braces. Thus, you don't have to keep track of too many of these brackets and everything that you need to do in other languages. When I say that it's an easy to read program, which is self explanatory, you can actually read the code like you're reading an English command. We've already discussed what it is to be object oriented, but let's discuss GUI programming support. Python has some built in libraries. Like, for example, there's a library called tkinter. Apart from which, you also have libraries like PyQt and PyGTK, which basically helps you actually create applications, right? So these frameworks actually support you in that. Python is a high level language as discussed in the previous slide. It also has some extensible features in it. When I say that it has some extensible features, it's basically what it means to be a glue language. Other languages can also be used to write a Python code. This allows a developer to use the best tools for different parts of a project and glue them together. All right. It's also easy to debug a Python program because there are some inbuilt libraries like the PDB module, making the debugging much more easier and simpler. Also, there's a large and active community that helps you with debugging and troubleshooting if you ever need. It's a portable language which is also self explanatory. The same code that you write in Windows can be moved to a Mac or a Linux system, and no kind of modification is needed. This makes it very easy to develop a Python program and deploy it. When we say it's an integrated language, you can actually use Python with other languages like C, C++, Java, and create powerful different applications. Interpreted language, like I mentioned, the code is executed line by line by an interpreter rather than being compiled to machine code before it runs. Allows for faster development and flexibility, but may make the code run a little slower. The large standard libraries has a pre-written set of codes as explained in the last slide as well. Basically, if you ever want to connect a database, send an email, parse XML, all of them can be run through the large and active community that actually provides these libraries. It's a dynamically typed language, which was also explained in the previous example, where we discussed that you don't really need to declare the type of a variable, it automatically gets done. But it also means that sometimes some errors may not be recognized until the program is really run. We'll understand this a little better when we actually get into the main programming part. Then, when I say that it can be used for front end and back end development, Python has some frameworks like Django and Flask, which are absolutely popular for back-end development. And at the same time, you also have PyQt and TK interface, which can be used for front-end development. So absolutely, you can use Python for both. Whether it's front-end or back-end, you can actually use Python for both of them. Lastly, when we say that Python has the feature of allocating memory dynamically, this means that a program can request and release memory as needed. Rather than having a fixed amount of memory at the start of the program, it's as per need basis. This automatic memory management means that you as a programmer do not have to explicitly allocate or deallocate memory. This simplifies your code, reduces the risk of any kind of memory leaks or any kind of errors. In summary, allocating memory dynamically in Python means that the program can automatically and efficiently manage the memory usage, which allows for more flexibility and ease of use. Thank you.